You know, I've always been morbidly curious about the minds and deeds of history's most notorious criminals. Over the past few weeks, I dove deep into a rabbit hole. Late-night articles, interviews, and some truly disturbing archives. Today, I want to share the 5 serial killers who honestly shocked me to my core. Grab a coffee, maybe lock your doors. We're about to go dark. Before we jump in, let me clarify. When people talk about serial killers, they mean murderers responsible for multiple crimes, spaced out over time, sometimes years. But what sets apart legends, the monsters whose names haunt entire countries, isn't just their numbers. It's the chilling stories, the methods, and the impact. I couldn't believe Pedro Rodrigues Filho's story. Imagine a kid growing up in one of the roughest regions in Brazil, witnessing violence nearly every day. Pedro saw his own father beat his mother, leaving her disabled. When he was just 14, Pedro's first act wasn't random. He killed a man for firing his father from work, claiming the guy was stealing. That was his twisted sense of justice. Then, after his father murdered his mother, Pedro tracked him down in prison, stabbed him, cut out a piece of his heart, and chewed it as a bloody message. He became famous as Pedrinho Matador, not for innocent victims, but for targeting criminals, dealers, rapists, and corrupt cops. Some call him a vigilante, but he took pleasure in the act, often describing his killings with zero remorse. Pedro confessed to over 100 murders, with almost half committed inside prison walls. He claimed he felt pleasure each time he killed another inmate dubbed evil. The thing is, he smiled during most interviews. Imagine surviving in one of Brazil's toughest prisons for decades, constantly proving he was the meanest in there. In 2018, after serving his time, Pedro was released under Brazil's maximum sentence laws. People worried he'd kill again. And according to some reports, he was indeed murdered in 2023 by 2 men, possibly as payback. Pedro's legend is so bizarre, Brazilian media sometimes painted him as a dark Robin Hood, but hearing his own words, he relished each kill. Let that sink in. Javed Iqbal's tale feels ripped straight from a nightmare. Born in Lahore, he grew up successful, even owning a prosperous steel recycling business. In 1998 and 1999, he targeted lost street children, boys outcast from families, invisible to society. Iqbal lured them with food and shelter, only to strangle each victim and dispose of their bodies in acid, erasing all trace. The way he openly taunted police and the press. He wrote a confession letter detailing his crimes, mentioning every name, every detail. He claimed to have murdered 100 boys in the span of months. He cited society's neglect for poor children, as if that could justify his acts. He showed investigators the acid vats he used. Iqbal was apprehended and sentenced to die in the same harrowing manner he killed his victims, strangled and dissolved in acid, publicly. He died mysteriously in custody before sentence could be carried out. The case left Pakistan in shock, forcing reforms in child protection, and many still debate how such evil could flourish in plain sight. Pedro López, the monster of the Andes, is perhaps the most frightening through sheer scale. Born in Colombia to a life of poverty with a mother who turned him out at age 8. López's early years were a cascade of abuse. He ran away, was picked up by criminals, and tragically became a victim before turning predator. From 1969 to 1980, López hunted young girls, many from poor villages. He'd wait near schools, lure them away. What stands out is his methodical approach. He once told police he targeted hundreds. When finally caught in Ecuador in 1980, he confessed to over 300 murders. Authorities were stunned. They even found mass graves based on his tips. The strangest part, despite the horror, he was convicted only for a handful of murders due to evidence limitations in 3 different countries. He spent fewer than 20 years in psychiatric hospitals and prison, then was released on good behavior. To this day, no one knows where he is. Authorities lost track, rumors swirl. His name alone still terrifies mountain communities across South America. Mariam Soulakiotis, called Mother Rasputin, offers a chilling twist. Spiritual leader turned mass murderer. In 1939, she rose to power as abbess of a remote convent in Greece, claiming to heal and house women and children who were ill or down on their luck. The treatment? Isolation and exposure to harsh mountain climates, extreme diets, and almost no medical attention. Over 12 years, hundreds died, most slowly from starvation or untreated illness. She meticulously covered up deaths, declared causes natural, and manipulated the local community. Investigators finally acted after persistent rumors and missing persons reports. They traced upwards of 177 deaths directly to Soulakiotis. Some say 500 or more perished due to her negligence and cruelty. She was sentenced to prison. She died incarcerated, her legacy becoming cautionary folklore in Greece. Luis Garavito, La Bestia, stands alone in sheer brutality. From 1992 to 1999, Garavito roamed across Colombia, Ecuador, and Venezuela. He targeted street children, mostly boys between ages 6 and 16. Garavito's methods were horrifying. He'd befriend them, offer them food or work, then lead them to remote areas where he'd torture, abuse, and kill. He kept a notebook, lists of names, sometimes recording details about his victims. The discovery came by accident. Authorities found a small child's skeleton in a ravine, leading to mass graves, clues, and finally Garavito's arrest. His confession stunned investigators, 193 killings, with suspicions stretching up to 300. Garavito attributed his acts to childhood abuse, but showed little true remorse. Colombian law capped prison sentences, so Garavito, despite being sentenced to thousands of years, only served a fraction. His cooperation led to reductions. He was scheduled for parole in 2023, though public outrage may have kept him behind bars until his death in October 2023. Garavito's story reshaped child protection laws in Colombia. As I pieced together these stories, it struck me. Behind behind every grim headline, there's a trail of shattered lives and communities. I've spent sleepless nights thinking about why these crimes happened, why some killers became legends, and whether society ever really heals. If you want to hear more detailed stories on any of these, you know where to find me. Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this video gave you chills, hit like, share, and subscribe, or suggest a case that shocked you. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember, truth is often darker than fiction.